Good morning, everybody. I'm Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio, and it's getting on to September here. It's August 29th, 2023, and thank you for being with us today, or perhaps you're listening on the archives, and of course, it's podcast. A lot of people do that, and everything's archived over at ace-ed.org. That's the home website of our American Consortium for Equity in Education, where everything we do is there and free for educators. Check it out at ace-ed.org, our magazine, Equity and Access, the Excellence in Equity Awards, all the podcasts like this one are all archived over there, plus a ton of other stuff. So please check it out. You'll enjoy it. Again, I want to make the point everything's free. It's all about equity over there at our American Consortium for Equity in Education. Today we've got an interesting show. There's an organization out there called Tutors Help Teachers. Okay, and we're going to find out more about it from the guy who runs it. His name's Marc Schectman. He's the president, and it's a non-profit corporation, but somehow he's going to explain this to you. He's working with a company, which I find pretty interesting, called Life Brand, which is social media content management technology. And somehow he has combined these two things. So it's all for under-resourced schools, all right? And it's free, and we're going to go from there. So, Marc, good morning to you. It's Larry here.
Good morning, Larry. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure to have you. Where are you today? Are you in Denver?
I'm in Denver, Colorado, where we're just starting the second week of school here.
Yep. And we haven't quite started here yet in Maine, but we will be starting pretty soon. I think they'll start this week, then take Labor Day off, and then go back, and that's when everything hits the fan, so to speak. So I wish everybody good luck as the school years begin. Tell us what you're doing, Marc, because I'm trying to get a picture of this. I got some information from you this morning about Life Brand, okay, which looks very interesting to me, and I want to know how this fits into tutors helping teachers, and also I want to ask you this: your website is tutorfree.org, tutorfree.org, right?
That's correct. Tutorfree.org.
Okay.
We're a registered nonprofit corporation in California. The corporate name actually is Ukraine Tutors. My grandparents came from Ukraine, and when the war started, I sincerely wanted to help. And so I talked to some educators there, and they said that students need more help than you can believe because 5 million students were displaced.
Absolutely.
And they said tutoring is probably the way to go because the classrooms are closed down and people left the country. If you could find a way to deliver free tutoring, that would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. And so we went down that path, and we decided we should start in the United States with free tutoring and expand then overseas based on what we were learning. And the truth is that I was looking to present our free tutoring program to the American Federation of Teachers. That was my first goal, is to work with a teachers union. I've been involved in unions most of my life. I've been a school teacher. I graduated from the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana in 1975.
There you go.
Taught second grade in a small school there. Right now I'm doing substitute teaching. They call it guest teaching in the Denver Public Schools. Yesterday, for the first time, I had a kindergarten through second autism class. It was was really it was tough. I had no experience with that whatsoever, but they needed someone in there, and
they do need people in the special ed.
They do. The hardest part of the day was when one of the little boys broke out of the playground. I had to chase him down the street and carry him back. I mean, it's very different than education, but that's what I'm doing right now. And so when I was looking to find a shortcut to AFT, I looked on the AFT website and I saw that they were promoting Life Brand. Matter of fact, the leadership of AFT is inviting their members, 1.7 million members, to take a look at Life Brand and offering a 25% discount. So I said, all right, I'll call Life Brand up and I'll see if there's any way I can work with them in order to have a relationship like they do, because, boy, they're really integrated with AFT. And so I studied Life Brand, and I talked to the people there, and I saw this is really a valuable service, but they're charging quite a bit for it. Individuals pay $120 a year, and there are some school districts that I think pay $250,000. Don't quote me on it, but it's a very large license fee. Then they get to offer the service at no cost to their teachers and to
right.
their
And
students.
just let me say, the
staff.
service, again, the service that LifeBrand offers is a social media content management technology system. Okay? Just
That's right.
so everybody knows
I'll put
that.
it in simple terms, and that is that many people, especially young people, post things on social media platforms that they might later regret. And the statistics show.
Not just young people.
Statistics show.
Not just young people.
I know. I know. You can't find a day without some sports person or television celebrity or politician
making some idiotic comment they'll live to regret. Yeah.
Well, no, being canceled because of something they said 2 years ago. And
about
so
10, 20 years ago. It's unbelievable.
Right. The teachers are human beings, and you've seen once in a while a teacher that gets into trouble like this. And,
sure.
And so AFT was saying, this service is really what's called a cleanup service. The artificial intelligence is used.
Going out of Pulp Fiction, the cleaner. Yeah.
Right.
It is.
So
well,
they use artificial intelligence to quickly, automatically review all the posts of a client on all the different major platforms, and it flags things that can be embarrassing or worse, and shows people, look, if you want to erase something, this is what you want to erase. And so it's quite automatic. It's something that can be done on a daily basis.
But what's this got to do with the tutoring? What does this have to do with the free tutoring? That's what I'm trying to put together. And I know it's a good the company. I'm sure is good. Okay, again, LifeBrand.
Right.
Okay?
So they were selling.
But what's
they
it got
were
to do
selling
with the free tutoring? Yeah.
Right. They were selling it to schools, and I saw that teachers and students were using it, and I said to myself, even the people, or maybe especially the people who can't afford this, the schools and the students, should have it also. So I first convinced them to give this away for free to underserved schools. And it's a process that will not happen overnight. Some things take time. I mean, in the old days before everybody was so politically correct, I was told in my youth, you can't take 9 women and make a baby in 1 month. And it's the same thing here. But now you can't say that. But the truth is, it does take some time. It does take some time to get this thing going. But they agreed, and we bought a license. We bought a global license to allow us to provide this to underserved schools for free for their students, for their teachers, for the parents, for the underserved communities. And that's where the story of free tutoring starts, is that we're going to be giving LifeBrand services to schools, teachers, students, parents in underserved communities because they have the same issues. Just to complete the story of LifeBrand, there's statistics that show something like 96% of employers look through social media before they hire. Universities do the same thing. It is your brand. That's where the word LifeBrand comes from. And everybody deserves a break to have a little bit of cleanup of something that they posted at 2:30 in the morning or after a few beers. And so absolutely. That's what it's for. And we are hoping that this will help us build a relationship underserved schools and with their communities, because we want to offer free tutoring 3 times a week. It's called intensive tutoring to the 11 million students that are going to school in underserved communities in the United States right now. It'll cost about $16 billion a year, and the first step is to build a relationship with the schools and with the populations through social media. Then the second step is to inspire this community to become what's called consumer activists. Consumer activists are people who, when they make a purchase, they purchase something that they need at the right price, but they also select products that are giving back to the communities. It's also called cause-related marketing. I was at a gas station just the other day, Larry, and a huge sign for giving back 25 cents per purchase of Pepsi and chips and things like that to the No Kid Hungry program with a limit of so many dollars, from this gas station chain. It's done all the time. This is called cause-related marketing. Another great example is Apple, the computer people. 16 years ago, they developed something called Product Red with an organization that provides free AIDS services to those who can't afford it. And over the last 16 years, the products that were sold by Apple with this red color generated $250 million in donations for this organization. It's a common practice where you have sellers of products and services that want to give back to causes that their consumers care about. And that is the crux of how we're going to pay for free tutoring 3 times a week throughout the year for 11 million students. We're going to inspire the underserved community to speak up, to communicate through social media, to the brands that are selling their products and services to this community anyway, and say, we would like you to make a donation through the sale of your products to provide free tutoring 3 times a week throughout the year, intensive tutoring, to help underserved students. You probably know that the research...
But Mark, I have to ask you something. Wait, I have to ask you.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, one thing I'm just mixed up on, okay? You're giving away the Life brand stuff, but you're doing that in order to give them something else for free, which is the tutoring. Help me out here, and I'm just asking because I don't understand it. I still don't understand it.
No, this is...
Yeah. Okay,
this is
so
forgive me
for that.
This is the reason
I'm glad you are.
The reason I'm calling
But my question is, what... And again, nothing against Life brand. I don't know them, and I'd love to learn more. That's not my point. My point is, why give underserved schools something for free when you're trying to entice them to take something for free, which is the tutoring? Why don't you just give them the tutoring for free? Help me out. I just don't get it.
Yeah, we need a social media relationship with this population. We need to connect with them. We need to connect with this population, the teachers, the students, the parents, the whole community. You're probably aware that the underserved community represents sometimes as high as 40% of a society, maybe 20%.
Oh, well, I won't argue that.
We're giving away Life brand first because it is a valuable tool, and it's another
wonderful
symptom. It's another symptom of inequity in education.
It is.
Which is the breeding ground for inequity in the society. This is where you start is in education. The kids that get a leg up in the school system also get a leg up in their jobs and in where they live. And so even if I only had enough money to provide free Life brand, I would do it. It is wrong that Life brand is only in the hands of people who can afford either $120 a year as individuals or a 6-figure for licenses. Life brand is used by really some classy organizations in this country that care about their employees. They have 9 major league sports teams that buy it. And you can imagine why, because the sports teams, they have millions and millions of dollars invested in their players, and you've seen some players sit out for more than half a season because of something stupid they said on social media. And that's the case in corporations. That's the case in the military. It's the case everywhere. You invest in your employees. You invest in your students. And to have them punished because of not even just their own posts, but reposting something that's stupid. So Life brand in itself is a educational tool. They offer courses, certified courses for the schools, and they have a very, very big value, and it belongs in the hands of every student and every teacher and the parents. And so in and of itself, it has value. But naturally, tutoring has I don't want to say a failed education system. That's absolutely the wrong words.
No, tutoring is important. Everybody understands the value of tutoring these days. You don't have to worry about that because, and I'll tell you, the teachers are under such great stress and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
I didn't understand it as much. I raised my daughters in La Jolla, part of San Diego. We lived there for
I know La Jolla well. Yeah, I know La Jolla.
Right. And it turns out that it's quite a privileged community, even the public schools. I mean, my daughters would go to class, and the whole class would be spent learning. And I go into these schools here in Denver, which Denver has dedicated teachers, good budgets, beautiful schools. Half the day is spent disciplining. My daughter didn't want to go back because of the violence in the school. And so, and it's not just for substitutes. Substitutes have a target on their back, and so it's not as easy. But I've sat in classes with regular teachers too, and I've talked to them, and so much time is spent disciplining. And during that time, the kids who want to learn aren't learning. And so, tutoring is where you can pick up the ball with 2 kids and a teacher 3 times a week. So I don't have to sing to the choir about that. But we need a very large budget from it, and for that, we need to have schools that know us, that appreciate us, that are connected to us through social media, because with that, then you just light the match. That is the fuel for the fire, is the connection with schools and teachers and parents and students on social media, which we can develop by giving LifeBrand. Or you can take years and millions of dollars to try to develop it, even if you're giving something away for free. But we saw LifeBrand as a valuable tool in itself and a simple way for schools to say, yes, we'd like to work with you, and teachers and parents. If AFT is promoting this with a 25% discount, I would hope that they'd be interested in telling the disadvantaged schools, the underserved schools, what we used to call low income, that this is of value. It is the starting point for our program because we want a social media connection to teach people how to become consumer activists, because it works. Consumer activism is said to be the number 2 way of social integration in the country. The number 1 way is voting. First comes voting, and then comes voting with your dollars.
Where do you want people to get in touch with you about all this? How do people do that? Everybody.
It's Marc, M-A-R-C, at tutorfree.org. My phone number is there also. I'll take calls until I lose the calls. I get calls 6 or 7 times a day, automated calls from the Denver Public School System. Everything's so automated. They have an app, kind of like an Uber app for the substitutes, where they post them and you grab them, and it's really not like the old days. I substituted in the 70s. And so you got up and you got dressed and you put on a tie and a white shirt, by the way, and you waited for the phone, right? And now there's bookings in January through April next year that are listed on my telephone for the school. It's amazing technology.
Yeah, it really is. So, but can people get more information over at tutorfree.org?
Absolutely. Tutorfree.org explains this hopefully not too complicated relationship between LifeBrand and our program. LifeBrand brings other things to the table for us, by the way. When I mentioned that 9 sports teams are clients of theirs, they're really appreciative clients. Again, you know what?
I mean, it's a good.
You know what a basketball player?
It's a good service.
You know what a basketball player gets per year? Some of the superstars, and you've seen basketball players, with $10 million contracts, $20 million contracts, sitting out for 15 games because of a post on a social media platform. So they have great relationships with some of the superstars, and a lot of them, Larry, come from underserved communities. I mean, you take a look at, and they give back. Heck, Michael Jordan just, signed up for a $100 million donation to lower income communities to address inequity in education. I mean, he has to sell shoes for 12 weeks for that.
That's good. Hey, I want to ask you something. I'm at tutorfree.org, which is the website.
Right.
And I just asking you for help here. I can't find anything on LifeBrand. Do you know where it is on the site? I can't find it. LifeBrand is developing a homepage for us and for them. They said it'll be ready the first week of September. Okay. And so lifebrand.life is the URL. Right. You
Life
said
Brand.
A few minutes ago that we could get it on your website. Okay, but it's
right.
not there. That's why I was just checking
our
it.
Program. Right. You learn everything about our program on the website. I developed that website by myself with GoDaddy. I am, a retired school teacher, substituting. Yep. I have three daughters that are school age. I'm a single dad, so everything I do by myself. And that website I did by myself. It's one of the first things LifeBrand said. LifeBrand said, do you mind if we redo your site a little bit and integrate it? So I was just on the phone with their VP of strategy, and they said first week of September, which is about a week away, and then my site will look like theirs and feel like theirs, and it will be integrated with theirs. But LifeBrand offers a tool that I want my daughters to use. My daughters are on social media more than I would like to admit, and they've got to have things on there that I would be embarrassed for. And I know for sure that colleges and employers and the military, when they look at it, they're going to think, is this the type of person we really want, let alone if they want to do professional sports.
It's interesting the way you put all this together, but this is really, LifeBrand.life, this is really pretty interesting, Mark. And I'm going to, you sent me a thing today from a gentleman named, I think, Kevin Quinn. Did you say, was that his name?
He's their education specialist at LifeBrand. And
I'm going to introduce myself to him. I want to learn more about what he's doing over there. I find LifeBrand to be very, very interesting in this day and age.
Well,
I think it's really cool, and the fact that AFT is pushing it, I think, is really valuable to everybody. And I think
I agree.
Once this all settled, Kevin Quinlan, excuse me, his name's Kevin Quinlan,
right?
And I think when all this comes together, you can do a lot. I know you are trying to do a lot of good here. You're a good guy. You got a good heart. Okay?
Well, I appreciate that, Larry, but LifeBrand is too. LifeBrand, let me read just the introductory paragraph.
I know. That's why I want to get to know them better.
It says, Right. So it says that they are developing offerings to align with digital citizenship standards and social-emotional learning. They're starting to see a number of states passing legislation that are requiring that. And so they have a social media literacy and wellness course for high school and college. And then they have from grades 5 through 12 something more appropriate. It's called Done for You and Ready Made. And so these are classes that are given to the schools that pay an outrageous license fee, but we've purchased a global license fee from them to allow us in the U.S. and overseas to provide their LifeBrand cleanup service, the social media cleanup service, and their courses at no cost to the schools. There's a value. If we didn't even talk about free tutoring, this is deserving of a show because I think it said, who was it? It was the not the Attorney General, but the Doctor General of the United States. What is the official title?
Surgeon General. Yeah.
Surgeon General. He came out and said social media is probably one of the top health issues in the country for mental health and everything else.
Without question. Yeah.
Right. And so
kids do it and they don't get the implications. They're kids. Okay, they don't get the implications. Yeah.
That's right.
And we got to make sure they understand that. Yeah, that's why I want to get in touch with this guy Kevin and talk to him. I just want to find out more about what's going on. It's a very interesting company. Okay, I really do believe that.
Social media.
And I will argue with you about one thing. You keep talking about this giant fee they charge. I'm not sure how giant it is compared to what they need, and I love the fact you guys are offering this for free. Okay, but I hope their pricing, and I'm sure it is fair. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure.
For individuals,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
For individuals, it's $120 a year, which is about what you pay to Netflix, even though Netflix is going up. And they offer a free trial of it. But I will tell you, I was on the phone with them this morning, and they explained to me that some of their biggest costs. They're in the Philadelphia area.
Oh, my hometown.
And they said one of the biggest costs to them, besides the research and development, because this is their own AI. They did not take some kind of chat GPT out of this. So they spent more money than you could shake a stick at to develop it. But for every user that comes on, they have to pay the bandwidth for operations. And so it is cash out the door. It's not a free service. But you know as well as everybody knows that social media is built on the concept of free services and advertising. These guys don't do that. These guys are charging a fee, and you pay for it. Whereas when you go on your favorite social media, you're on there, and they're going to feed you with ads until you can't eat anymore. And so that's how the social media industry has developed this year. $300 billion are being spent on social media ads, and that's the product. But so these guys chose to say, no, we are going the route of charging a fee, and people, it supports the cost. They're not a nonprofit, obviously, but they put a fortune into this. And Right, and they developed something of value that obviously any professional sports team can afford. The AFT members have a 25% discount, which helps.
It's great.
But it really belongs in all the schools. I mean,
this is for underserved, under-resourced schools. Like I said, man, you got a good heart. And by the way, I just looked, Life Brand, that Life there in Westchester, Pennsylvania. That's 2 words, Westchester, where I happen to go to college. There you go.
Really? Small world.
Yeah, Westchester
Small
State.
World. So, yeah. And so that adds to our integration. You can tell your listeners that you and I share the same birthday, Larry.
July 12th.
Remember that? July 12th.
That's right. That's right. I do remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's cosmic that we're coming together.
Yeah, it's good. And like I said, I hope this all works out, Mark, because you got a good heart, and I'll send you the show. You can put it up on your website, use anything you want to do. Okay, we're happy to help you with this, okay, and try to get this free tutoring and all this stuff for Life Brand out to the kids who need it. So we got to go, my friend, but I got to tell you, thanks a million. Just keep up the good work.
Larry, it's thanks to you that people like myself get to amplify their message. So we're all grateful for the time you put into your radio show.
Well, everybody who wants to help education, they're always welcome here. It's that simple, and that's what you're trying to do. So, and you're trying to erase this inequity, which I think is extremely important. So, Mark,
I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of it.
Who is?
I was in
Unless
a school
you're in it. Who is?
That's right. I mean, they raise $300,000 a year just from a farmer's market at this La Jolla Elementary School. I mean, just
wow.
And here, it's pencils. The school supplies the teachers are paying for it. So
absolutely, it's everywhere.
I was thrown into this. I was thrown into a school system that I didn't know how bad it was. And again, Denver has great teachers. They have good schools, but the kids come and sometimes sleep because they're waiting up till midnight for their mother to come home from the second shift.
Every urban school district, Denver's a big city, okay, has these challenges that they have to overcome, and the teachers are unsung heroes, the counselors, the whole faculty and staff of a high school are unsung heroes that make this possible, and hopefully we made you a sung hero. Okay, so thank you very much, Marc Schectman. This is great. I'll make sure everybody gets in touch with you. You take care, my friend. Thanks a million.
Thank you for the time. Right. Bye-bye.
Oh, you are welcome. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Wow. There you have it, everybody. Marc Schectman. You can learn more at Marc at tutorshelpteachers.org. If you want to write them, it's tutor-free, tutorfree.org. Okay. And I'm going to learn more about Life Brand. It's pretty interesting. I have it over on the website, lifebrand.life. And again, AFT, American Federation of Teachers, is promoting it. Okay, so all good stuff. I'll learn more, and we'll help you get along with all this. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm Larry Jacobs. Check out everything we do over at ace-ed.org. And by the way, if you want to get in touch with me, Larry at ace-ed.org. Thanks for listening.